This is super funny. I told you guys on yesterday's show that Donald Trump's impeachment lawyers just quit on him. And Donald Trump yesterday was able to get new impeachment lawyers, at least one, a guy named David Schoen. And he went on Fox News last night with Sean Hannity, and he just imploded, showing us instantly what this impeachment trial is going to be like. Here is Donald Trump's new impeachment lawyer. Again, a bunch of his lawyers quit. He got a new guy telling Sean Hannity that he might call Democratic senators, or as he calls them, Democrat senators, as witnesses over what he calls bias. What? Yeah, I don't know either. Let's take a look.
March to the Capitol so your voices can get heard. And I
think you're right.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, there are 2 points about this. I would say you also should be able to call then many of the senators as witnesses because of the awful bias and prejudgment they've shown. Can you imagine any American citizen considering it to be a trial in which the judge and jury has already announced publicly that the defendant must be convicted in this case? And in fact, Senator Leahy demanded that Senator McConnell vote for conviction also. Both sides, everyone, it's clear to them, Donald Trump undercut democracy. How can we possibly have a fair trial? Senator Schumer promised a fair and full trial. You can't when you know that the juror and the judge are biased going in.
Notice at the start that Sean Hannity is actually defending Trump's role in inciting the insurrection, saying, listen, he was telling people to go to the Capitol to have their voices heard. And it's funny to say Democratic senators are doing something wrong by calling for conviction before the trial. Remember Trump's first impeachment when Republican senators prejudged an acquittal of Donald Trump? Where was this guy then? Where was Sean Hannity then saying, the trial hasn't happened yet, so they really shouldn't be prejudging it. They're not going to be calling any Democratic senators as witnesses anyway, by the way. Then Trump's impeachment lawyer says he doesn't want any videos of the insurrection shown at the trial. He says this has nothing to do with Donald Trump.
The second thing is, does this country really need to see videotapes? We know now, apparently, that Mr. Swalwell and the other managers tend to show videotapes of the riots and people calling in, people being hurt, police officers talking. Why does the country need that now? We would stipulate that there was a riot that went on that day. It was a tragedy. President Trump has condemned violence at all times. Read the words of his speech, calls for peacefulness. This has nothing to do with President Trump, and the country doesn't need to just watch videos of riots and unrest. We need to heal now. We need to move forward.
Is that the speech Trump gave when the riot was already over that David Schoen is referring to? Or then the one that he gave days later where he retroactively condemned the violence that he was gleefully loving based on reports from the actual day of January 6th? It's funny how David Schoen keeps saying the country doesn't need to see videos of the Trump riot. The trial is for senators. Now, I understand it's nationally televised. I know the country will see whatever evidence is put forward. But the trial is for the senators to adjudicate. What justification is there for not including relevant video evidence during the trial for the people who are going to be adjudicating guilt or innocence, or guilt or lack of guilt, to make it easier for them to acquit? Maybe he doesn't want the videos put up there. Oh, I don't know. That footage was never presented. And you'll remember that Kelly Loeffler hilariously said at one point during her senatorial campaign, when asked about the Trump grab him by the you-know-what tape. Oh, what tape is that? I don't know. The reason you put the footage in front of the senators during the trial is so nobody can say, listen, I don't know. Based on what I saw during the trial, which is all we're supposed to consider, I didn't see any reason to convict Donald Trump. Now, the Republicans aren't going to convict him anyway, but at least expose them for the shills that they are by putting all of the evidence in front of them, including video of the riot. Now, one last clip. Here's a possible preview of the defense strategy, which is to call the entire thing unconstitutional.
And you've hit many of the main arguments that I think are attractive to the American people. They're all right on. But I'm going to say to you that besides the fact that this process is completely unconstitutional and that this is a very, very dangerous road to take with respect to the First Amendment, putting at risk any passionate political speaker, which is really, and against everything we believe in this country, foundation of the First Amendment. But I'm going to tell you, I think it's also the most ill-advised legislative action that I've seen in my lifetime. It is tearing the country apart at a time when we don't need anything like that. I think President Biden missed a great opportunity to be a statesman and to have demanded that this thing be called off, frankly. This is the political weaponization of the impeachment process. There was a rush to judgment. Listen, when President Trump became president, the day he was elected, there were calls for his impeachment already. This is the weapon they've tried to use against him. But now we know also that the agenda, Ms. Pelosi and others, is simply to bar President Trump from ever running for president again. And that's about as undemocratic as you can get. Can you imagine the slap in the face that is to the 75 million or more voters who voted for Donald Trump?
So this is not a First Amendment issue. Donald Trump as president had the biggest bully pulpit in the world. He used it, and that bully pulpit caused a riot. Now, there are possible consequences for that speech. There won't be because Trump will be acquitted, but these are the possible consequences to your speech. David Schoen calling for Joe Biden to demand the trial be called off, by the way, is ridiculous. As I've said for weeks and months now, Joe Biden should have no involvement whatsoever in the impeachment trial. Trump was impeached by the House before Joe Biden was even president. Biden should do nothing one way or the other, period. And then David Schoen even sort of placates. I don't know if you noticed this. He placates the Stop the Steal conspiracists. He says the 75 million or more voters who voted for Trump. That's a dog whistle. That's the suggestion that, OK, 75 million people officially voted for Trump, but there may even be more uncounted votes out there that we still need to respect as well. This guy is absolutely pathetic. He's merely a political hatchet man, a political tool. He should be ashamed of himself, and the trial starts 1 week from today, and we will be covering much of it. One of our sponsors today is Nebbia, the creator of the world's most innovative showerhead. It uses only about half the water that other showerheads do, saving you money, helping the environment, but it's actually a lot more powerful than other shower heads on the market. It has twice the coverage of other shower heads. The water sprays with a ton of pressure. I've been using it in my bathroom at home. I love it. Only took a few minutes to set up, really easy. And it's been a totally different experience than any other shower head I've used. I can get in and out of the shower way quicker now because of how powerful it is. It only takes a few seconds to get completely rinsed off. So I was actually amazed that it's only using about half as much water. Nebbia also offers a number of shower accessories like shelves and curtains, which match perfectly with the design of the shower head. The shower head starts at just $199, but the first 100 people who go to Nebbia.com/Pakman and use code Pakman will get 15% off all Nebbia products. The link is underneath this video.